Hello and welcome to the Vox News. I am Adetokunbo Akintayo. It's World AIDS Day, so we start with a report on HIV/AIDS. A school run by an AIDS orphan is providing free elementary education for 40 AIDS orphans in the world's second largest slum in Nairobi, Kenya. Kenya is one of countries with the highest AIDS risk, with 2,400,000 AIDS patients accounting for 6.3% of its total population. 1 out of 5 AIDS patients lives in Kibera, the largest slum in Kenya, where also lived over 50,000 AIDS orphans. Amid the 800,000 population, 2.4 square kilometer Kibera slum, the world's second largest slum, there is Angel Hope School, created by 23-year-old Legina, which provides free elementary education and free food for 40 AIDS orphans. 4 of the 40 children here are HIV positive. The school provides free lunch and free snack for the children in school days. The school only boasts of one badly lit classroom furnished with plastic tables and chairs. And all costs are collected by its creator, Legina, an AIDS orphan herself. Without stable donations, Legina has to do various odd jobs to cover the school's expenses, including house rent, food and drugs, which total about $100 per month.
It's not been easy. We've tried, but we are unable to get funds from outside. Sometimes we stay without food, and it's very risky, especially for the children who are infected. They're taking drugs, and if they stay without food, it becomes a problem. It's higher than other places because a lot of people don't know about their status because they're scared of the outcome, and also the stigma in the community. I live with her. She's 3 years old. The father died, and the mother, after discovering that she was HIV positive, she left the child and ran away. And she's still there. The mother died of HIV, and their family, relatives, they sent them away because they discriminated them and sent them away because they thought they were like a curse to have HIV/AIDS.
Hundreds gathered on the streets of Bangladesh capital, Dhaka, to mark World AIDS Day on Thursday. People of various ages and from all walks of life sang and danced, joining the rally to spread awareness of the pandemic. A person infected with a human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, is considered to have developed AIDS when the immune system is so weak it can no longer fight off a range of diseases with which it could normally cope. World AIDS Day has been commemorated around the world since 1988. So talking about a day, almost 2 years after a devastating earthquake ravaged Haiti, the country's battle against the spread of HIV and AIDS gains a stronger foothold. Haiti's HIV infection rate had begun declining among young people before the 2010 quake threw its health system into chaos, demolishing clinics and depriving patients of essential medicines. Many feared the aftermath of the deadly quake would damage years of progress in fighting the spread of HIV/AIDS in the Caribbean country. The impoverished country was listed as having the worst rate of HIV infection in the region, and halting the spread of the virus was hailed as a small victory for aid groups working closely with local communities to improve treatment and health awareness. Ernest Masaya, director for UNAIDS Caribbean Regional Support Team, said Haiti has made significant progress.
I think Haiti has made significant progress if we look at it over the last 15 years. In 1993, for example, the adult prevalence of HIV in Haiti was about 6.2%. In 2009, I estimate it's 2.2%. So there's been a drastic reduction in the prevalence of HIV in Haiti, which means that less people are becoming infected, less people are dying. In terms of reducing the number of new infections, if we can make a significant breakthrough in the number of children who are born with HIV, that will bring down the number. And we can do that now because we have technology now. We have the medicines that if we provide medicines to mothers when they're pregnant, will allow them to have children who are not born with HIV.
The country has success to report. In fact, Haiti is one of the success stories. Approximately half of those in need of treatment, so approximately half of those who need antiretroviral therapy actually are on treatment. That also means that still half of those who need treatment, and we're talking about some 30,000 people that are currently not on treatment, still need to gain access to what is basically a life-saving intervention that will convert a disease that will kill people into a disease that makes them into, let's say, a chronic disease. And actually, Haiti has most of the tools in place in terms of treatment guidelines and the like. The one element that in this country is currently lacking is proper legislation to protect those who are HIV positive from, let's say, inappropriate behavior of others. The law is ready, the law is ready for adoption, the law needs to be adopted by Parliament. For instance, there's one group in society that people don't talk about, and that is men having sex with men. And in this particular group, we see that the HIV/AIDS or HIV prevalence is very high. It's reaching almost 15% now.
Well, let's go back to Africa. A local NGO in Lesotho is helping HIV-positive textile workers access medication and get tested at their working premises. Michelle Adobo reports.
At a textiles factory in Lesotho's capital, Mosoro, workers are busy sewing denim jeans ready for export. The country has one of Africa's largest textile industries, with about 40 plants mainly run by Asian businessmen, benefited from the African Growth and Opportunities Act. The program helps sub-Saharan countries sell products to the US market duty-free. The industry is the country's single largest employer, providing about 40,000 jobs. But studies show that about 40% of the workforce is also currently living with HIV. To help keep affected workers healthy and productive, a partnership between the public and private sector, known as the Apparel Lesotho Alliance to Fight AIDS, was started in 2006 to provide HIV prevention and treatment services in the workplace and surrounding communities. Workers in the industry often put in long hours on the production line, and in the past, a number never had a chance to access medical services as required. Rufilio Kagadi, who works at the factory, is HIV positive and has signed up on the Alafa program. She's happy that she can now easily access treatment, but says it's still tough working at a factory, sticking to a healthy diet and taking medication regularly as required.
It's not really good for a person who's HIV positive to work in a factory like this one, because here you only eat at certain times. You can't just go out as you please. It's hard for me because I have to eat healthy foods, and at times I get ill at work, so factory work is not ideal for a sick person.
The program has won a number of local business awards. Initially, it reached out to women who make up a majority of workers in the textile sector, but now also targets men.
Industry is incredibly important to the economy of the country, and they found that one of the main challenges currently and looking forward was going to be that of HIV and AIDS and the effects that would have on the economy and the industry, particularly looking at the importance of keeping the workers healthy and the effects of the mortality and morbidity that AIDS would ultimately have on the workforce. So ALAFA was created as an alliance of the different partners involved to try to keep that workforce healthy and therefore also support the economy.
As the World AIDS Day is marked on December 1st, the United Nations has estimated that about 270,000 people live with HIV and AIDS in Lesotho, nearly a quarter of the adult population. Drought and hunger, partly caused by farmers dying from AIDS, has led the government to declare humanitarian emergencies in the past. Even then, Lesotho has also made some significant strides in lowering the numbers of new infections through various programs like the Prevention Mother-to-Child Transmission campaign.
It has been very difficult for me because my husband has not been supportive. He said I was the one who infected him with HIV and that I was sleeping around. My family has been very supportive, so that's what gives me strength and courage to go on.
It was very painful. I can't even explain the pain. The children in school treated me very badly at school because of my mother's status.
According to the UN Programme on HIV and AIDS, East and Southern Africa are still largely affected by the global HIV epidemic. A worldwide survey in 2009 indicates that 34% of people living with the virus were in 10 countries in Southern Africa, including Lesotho.
Away from stories on World AIDS Day, Ivory Coast former President Laurent Gbagbo will appear before the International Criminal Court in The Hague within days to face charges of crimes against humanity. the first former head of state to be tried by the ICC since its inception in 2002. News of his arrest and transfer to Europe has been greeted with mixed feelings back home, where the violence that erupted after last year's election, in which as many as 3,000 people died, is still fresh in people's minds. For many Ivorians, the fact that the former president has been taken out of the country to be tried is a slight to the Ivorian justice system. They would prefer Gbagbo to be tried at home rather than in Europe. To Libya, one of Libya's ethnic minority groups, Amazigh Berbers, have demanded a public recognition from the country's ruling National Transitional Council, the NTC, following their contribution to the civil war which ended the late Colonel Gaddafi's reign. During the colonel's 42-year rule, the ethnic group were banned in using their language known as Tamazight in public, including writing and printing. Berbers are known as an indigenous group of people from North Africa, west of the Nile Valley. Today, most Berber-speaking people live across the Arab world, including Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Western Sahara, Mauritania, Mali, and Niger. And Ahmad Omar, a Berber descent who has been working for the El Majahed Suleiman El Baruni Museum as a volunteer for the last 15 years, said life under the Gaddafi regime forbade them in expressing themselves through their culture, with their freedom suppressed and some even imprisoned.
He neglected our identity. Okay, he never said that you are a Mazigh. He never said that you have your own culture. We never study our language at school. I have some friends who tried to sing, to play the guitar, our language, and they put them in prison. Yeah, we are very disappointed. We think that it should be the other way around. Yeah, we should be recognized. We should be have our voice heard. Yeah, we think that we are the same. We're still the same, Gaddafi and now.
We take it to Sudan. On Wednesday, Sudan denied it had halted landlocked South Sudan's oil exports in a transit fee row, but said the country had confiscated crude shipments to make up for payments it claims South Sudan owes. South Sudan's oil minister, returning from Addis Ababa, where talks around untangling the two countries' oil industries collapsed, said at least 1 million barrel cargo of his country's oil was still detained at Port Sudan on Wednesday. On Monday, Sudan's acting oil minister, Ali Ahmed Osman, said his country had altered South Sudan's oil exports roughly 200,000 barrels per day until the two sides came to an agreement on transit fees. Sabir Mohamed Hassan, Sudan's co-chair of negotiations on economic issues, appeared to reverse that statement on Wednesday. And Pagan Amom, South Sudan's chief negotiator, rejected what he described as an attempt to steal the new nation's oil.
So we have offered 2.6 billion. We have also offered to forgive 2.8. This is $5.4 billion that we have offered here. They have rejected it because they are banned on looting.
The government of Sudan has decided that they would take a bit of the oil from the south that is passing through there in order to address what they consider to be a debt that's owed to them because the south has not been paying.
And finally, the second edition of the Lagos Jazz Festival drew on the appeal of internationally renowned jazz maestro Hugh Masekela. The South African jazz legend was the main act at the event, captivating audiences and wooing many to their feet. The festival's founder, Oti Baunu, said the four-day event aims to promote jazz music in Nigeria by bringing international and African artists together, as well as giving jazz lovers a chance to see their favorite musicians on stage.
We started off last year, the first time, and with artists from South Africa, from the Americas, from Germany.
People of Africa basically are having a rough time, most of them. And I come from them, and the material I do comes from them. So I would be a little bit sick if I didn't talk about if I didn't talk about their difficulties, because they are my source.
This is my first time. They've been here before, but I wasn't here the last time, so this is my first time, and seeing it all come together, it's been very, very nice. Yeah, I'm having fun.
Well, on that jazzy note, we end the news. Thanks for staying with us. You can check us online, voxafrica.co.uk, or follow us by Twitter or Facebook. Enjoy your time with us. Bye for now.